Hey, bookish friends. I'm here with the author of Under, Lily Fay. This book comes out August 8th. I'm so excited because it's giving dark academia, it's giving queer, and it's giving slow burn, which we love to see. So without further ado, hi Lily, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so happy to have you on the podcast to discuss your upcoming book, Under. I was so excited when I saw the edits of it on Instagram. Your marketing is simply divine. Everything is
Thank
so
you.
beautiful. So I was
That's so
like,
sweet.
a lot of people say that they actually do get drawn to stories based off the cover sometimes.
Yes.
The cover art is absolutely gorgeous, listeners. It's a
Thank
woman with
you.
like red hair in water, surrounded by pearls and like a beautiful white flower. It's so pretty. But also like the tropes that you described in this book from found family, murder mystery, hate to love, forced proximity, sapphic romance, all of it was just so beautiful. Um,
Thank you.
so yeah, I can't wait to discuss Under with you. And listeners,
I'm
if this
really
is your first
excited.
time, yeah, I'm excited too. Listeners, this is your first time finding Lily Fay. I will have the book linked in the show notes below. And this is non-spoiler. So you can listen to this episode before the book comes out and imagine this as a teaser for everything. So yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but Lily, can you tell me a little bit about you and how you stepped into writing?
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
So my name is Lily Fay, obviously. I was a really big reader. I used to hate reading as a kid. And then about high school period, I started reading a lot of fantasy and I got sort of really in love with like Game of Thrones and like all your sort of classic books. And then I kind of stopped reading fantasy. I went into nonfiction. I was like, oh, that's sort of behind me, like whatever. And then my manager actually was the one who got me back into reading. And she was like, have you heard of Romantasy? And I was like, no, like, what the heck is this? And she gave me a big bag of books and I read them all in literally like 4 days. I don't think I've ever read books faster in my life. And then I just kept reading all these different books. And obviously, the more books you read, the more you find sort of like your niche and what you like to read and what you don't like to read. And I found my love for dark academia. And queer literature, specifically Sapphic. And it's very rare to find that combination in sort of books that are out there, especially the trad books. I didn't really know at the time what indie publishing was at all. And I was like, what if we had a dark academia fantasy that was sapphic? Because I had read one and I was like, we need more of this. Like, this is amazing. This is one of the best books I've ever read. I want like 10,000 of these to just read all the
Mm.
time. And that's how Under was born. I didn't actually start writing Under first. It was a rom-com that I was writing first, and it just didn't feel right when I was writing it. So then I switched to this, and I have never felt better about writing a first draft in my whole life. So yeah, that's a bit about me. I write queer, yearning, obviously dark academia, but I read lots of different genres, so I kind of am planning to write in lots of different genres as well. I can't say too much because I don't know like sort of where that's going to go, but I'm very excited to see where it takes me. But yeah.
I'm so excited for you because while I was reading the arc for Under, um, it reminded me a lot of the vibes and the tone of An Education in Malice by S.T.
Yes.
Gibson. It gave me a little bit of a taste of the dark academia and the moodiness that I really like in anthologies like The Tenth Muse, which was really beautiful, an entirely
Yes.
queer anthology.
Yes.
So beautiful. So your
So
book kind of
important.
gave me that. Yes. So I'm so excited for listeners out there to be able to read it. My next icebreaker question for you is what are three
Sure.
books that made you fall in love with reading and writing?
Okay. This is hard because there are a lot of books that I really, really love. And again, I read lots of different genres, but my favorite book of all time is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Leigh Bardugo is a really big inspiration for me. So that one is like what made me fall in love with dark academia. And I mean, I don't like to talk about Harry Potter, but it kind of is my Harry Potter of the book world. Like every time I read it, it's really dark and really kind of like grotesque in nature, but it's got these morally great characters and this really cool, like wintry, it's set in Yale. It's an urban fantasy, and the girl, the main character Alex, she sees ghosts. So there's like this uncanny element to it. It's really cool, and I love it so much. The found family in it is amazing. So there's that one. And then V.E. Schwab is a really big inspiration for me as well. So I recently read Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, but I have read a few of her books. I think Addie LaRue was the first one that really made me sort of lock into her um, writing and her books. And Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil really solidified that. And it's vampires, it's toxic lesbians, it's yearning, like it's everything that you could want in like a historical sort of fantasy. And then the last one that really inspired Under the most is A Dark and Drowning Tide, which is a Sapphic Dark Academia fantasy, but it's got a folkloric sort of undertone to it. It's really beautifully written, like the prose and the yearning in it is just something that I've never read in a book before. And it just felt so unique and very atmospheric. Like I felt like I was in another dimension when I read it, if that makes sense. So I love that book for that reason as well. So yeah, those are probably my top three at the moment, but it does change a lot.
All three of those are actually on my personal TBR. So I'm sitting
Yes.
here. I own There Are Bones in the Midnight Soil, and I'm very excited to read it. It is gonna be like I know it's gonna suck me into the world, and I won't be able to focus on anything else. So I'm like, I must
Hmm.
make time for this. And V.E.
Yes.
Schwab, I think like her name, same thing with S.T. Gibson, is synonymous with like dark academia, moodiness, like
Yes.
just kind of enchanting you. So I'm so excited to read those
She's
three.
amazing.
I'm like,
Yeah.
ah.
Also Vicious. Her other book, Vicious,
I
is
heard
really
that was
great. I
really,
need
really
to read the
good.
sequel. There's three, but the first one, it's just like so gripping and
Mm.
just the way it's written, it's so fast paced, which usually isn't my style, but the characters are so like intriguing and complex, and I just really love the way that she writes characters in general.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to dive into that author as well. Your
Yes.
debut is a slow burn. Are you a fan of this book trope? If so, why?
Okay. I can't be here all year, right? But slow burn is like the most underrated trope I feel like that ever existed. It is so like you could do it so many ways, and I feel like I could write 100 slow burns and they would all be different, even though, essentially slow burn is just when they have the the reward of the end of the romance like very late on in the book.
Mhm.
Um, but I just really love the way it makes you feel. Like my emotions really like crescendo and they snowball over like this long period of time. And a lot of the time in real life as well, like you don't get to sort of reap the reward of a relationship until like the very end of it
That's true.
sometimes. And I think that's so beautiful to go with these characters and experience the sort of like blossoming of their like relationship and sort of how like I don't know, there's just something about it. It's just romantic. It feels so romantic to me compared to like there's nothing wrong with insta love and I sometimes I will definitely be in the mood for like okay, can we just like be in love and just move on? Like, you know, but
Sometimes.
it doesn't feel as sort of like poetic and like gripping as a slow burn does to me.
Hmm. I do agree. Like, there's something alluring about a slow burn, especially in a sapphic romance, where
Yes,
it's like a hand touch, giving the Darcy energy, like your hands touch me and the
exactly.
grip,
Exactly.
you walking away. It's
Yes.
so beautiful. I also love when I love the trope where it's like you came, you called. I love
Yes.
that where it's like the person's surprised that their partner is there, but it's like they would do anything for them. Like one character's like,
Yes.
but you know that, right? The other character's like, I didn't know you dropped everything for me.
It's like they're
I love
oblivious
it.
to each other's like longing for each
I
other. And
love
it's
it.
just like, oh my gosh, please just look at each other because you know
Just
that you love her and she knows that she loves you and just be together,
I
please.
feel like that character from Tangled in Disney, but they got the two unicorns and they're like, now kiss.
Yes.
That's how I feel when I read Slow Burn. When
Yes.
they kiss and you smile, you're like, exactly. This is what I
Yeah.
needed.
There's
Um,
just the way that you can write a slow burn with just like a look, like you just say
yeah.
that they're looking at each other in a certain way, and all of a sudden, like the room's on fire, my skin's
Mm,
tingling, like I'm gonna
mm.
explode.
That's how
It's
I
beautiful,
feel.
you know?
That's how I feel about her stories are not slow burn by any means, but the way that this author, I think you'd really like her. The way she writes sapphic love stories, the dark romance element, And these characters are iconic. Um, okay, so her name is Eden Emery.
Okay, so Eden Emery, we're mutuals on Instagram. And
Mhm.
I'm dying to read her books. Like, I genuinely am so excited. She has
Yeah.
like 30 books or something under two pen names, which I think
Yes.
is incredible. Like, to be able to just write that many books, I'm like, oh, I'm in awe. But, like,
Uh,
yeah, every time her posts come up on my page, I'm like, please, like, I'm so well fed. Like, give me all of these right now. I'm eating it up, you know? Like, I'm
right?
so excited to read her books, genuinely. So, that was a
Don't
great
Stop Me is one of
recommendation.
my all-time favorite dark
Okay,
queer books.
it's on my
Like
list.
dark romance, queer. The love
Yes,
interest is so, it's giving like John Wick meets like Atomic Blonde. If I was gonna do it like movie references,
that's perfect.
it's so, she's
Yes.
got like chest tattoos
Sounds
and
so
like
good.
staring at you from the shadows. She's just
I
so,
do like a mafia billionaire moment every now and
uh,
then. Like it just,
she's a
I just gobble it
hacker.
up.
She's a
Yes.
hacker and a business owner. And I'm sitting here and I'm like,
Stop, I'm getting hot and sweaty.
yeah. But yeah, she works at a place called Club Petal,
hmm
and
That's such a
she's an
cute name.
owner. It is a cute name, and she owes like the owner of the place. And long story short, like you can find someone who fits your vibe in a spicy
Yes.
situation, and she meets someone who's an art professor by day, and by night like goes to Club Petal,
Gagged.
and they
Gagged.
connect, and it's like amazing. After that night, she is like obsessed with the art professor, and the art
As
professor
she
like
should be.
she goes to like academy. The owner of Club Petal like follows her there and acts like she's an adult. They're both adults, but she
Yeah.
like acts like a student. Like she shows up the next day in her class,
That's so cute.
but
That's
it was supposed
actually
to be
goals.
anonymous.
Yes.
It is
Dang it.
so,
All right, it's going up on my TBR. You've
it's
convinced
so
me.
good.
I'm actually really, really excited to read her books.
I
That's not
hope you
even a
do.
joke.
Like
Yeah,
everyone should read Eden Emery as long as you're okay with like it's a dark
it
romance. It's
is
got
dark.
quite a bit
Yeah.
of spice, but oh boy, is it good.
Yes, but it's we don't have enough dark sapphic romance at all, and the fact
I
that we're getting
agree.
more of it just makes me really, really happy because that's such a missed out genre that I feel like we always sort of
I
neglect.
if you also like dark academia and you're waiting on Under to come out, 'cause this episode comes out before Under comes out, you should definitely check out Serpentine Valentine by Gianna Darling. It is so good.
I've heard good things about it.
It is so good. She's one of my favorite authors. It's a
Amazing.
Medusa retelling. It's dark academia. It's sapphic. It's enemies to lovers somewhat.
Ooh,
Um,
yes.
and there's
Ticking all my
also a
boxes.
girl group on this college campus. It's dark academia, and they're on a college campus. They're called the Man Eater Crew.
Oh,
And they wear masks
yes.
and they have like audio changing voices, and
That's so
they
cool.
target boys on campus who are predators, and they
Period.
punish
As they
them.
should. Clock that.
Yeah, it's a really good book. Oh my gosh, I need
It's
everyone to read
also on my
it.
list. Literally,
It's
I swear, anytime I
really
see a
good.
book in it and it's queer, I'm like, all right, another one.
It is queer. There is an element, it's a dark romance. There is an element where someone has been harmed and wronged, and they are coming back for revenge, but their version of revenge is questionable. They have reasons,
Okay.
but
Okay.
they were hurt and harmed, and they seeked out help. And the dean of the college was like, "I don't believe you, pretty much. I'm not going to help you." And the character was like, "Okay, um, internally, like I will get back at you, and I'm gonna make your daughter fall in love with me, and then I'm gonna break your
Oh,
fucking heart."
that's interesting.
And the daughter, meanwhile, had no idea about the things that had happened, and she's on the college campus. She's like an athlete, and the person who was wronged comes back, and she has like snake tattoos, and like
Ooh,
wears
she's a
all
baddie.
black, and she's badass.
Yes.
And she owns a snake, and he's super cute. And she lives in her dorm
Oh,
with like, all of her female best friends. And long
oh
story
yeah.
short, like she has this plan to get revenge, but like at what cost? And
I
she
love
ends up like
that.
actually falling
Yes.
in love with the girl.
That sounds so morally like questionable, and I
It is
love
very
when
morally
books are
questionable.
like that.
It
Yes.
is, but I will also give a trigger warning for that with mentions of SA. It is a Medusa retelling for folks who know the original lore.
Yes.
It's going to be pretty harsh, but I promise you can skip that chapter if you'd like, and you can continue with the story. It'll reference that, but I think the author did say you could skip that chapter if you are uncomfortable.
That's really good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you can still read it and read the book, just not read that part, and you can still enjoy
Yes.
it. So yeah, I hope that before Under comes out, if you need a little bit of queer dark romance, I hope that this episode is a resource for people so that they can read Under when that's released
Absolutely.
August 8th. But they can also find more like sapphic, dark academia books. Like most people just don't know where to look. Social media is a great tool.
Yes. And it's again, it's just one of those genres that like unless you really know what you're looking for, it's hard
Yeah.
to sort of get to it.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited for more books, especially your books to come out in the world in
Oh, thank
sapphic
you.
dark academia. So excited. My next question for you is kind of broad.
Okay.
What makes a good story?
Okay, this is again a hard question to answer. I don't think there is one right answer to this question. I think it depends on the person because obviously we all have different preferences with reading. For me, I need it to be like emotional. I need it to make me feel like every emotion under the sun. I want to be crying 1 second and then laughing the next page and then crying again. And then I need the ending to like have a good like punch to it and make me be like, okay, now I'm questioning my entire existence. Like, how dare
Mm.
you? I want a book that's gonna make me question my entire life's existence. And if a book does that, that's a good sort of pointed to me that it's a good one.
I love that. I think for me, like if a book can keep me reading all night, kind of like
That's a good
what
one
we all
too.
did in school, like your little
Yeah.
reading light under the covers, like reading all night. If a book
Yeah.
can make me feel that way, like I bring it everywhere with me, it's a good
Yes.
book.
When you're attached to it and you don't want to let it go. That's another good
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Nothing, I love my Kindle as much as the next person, but like nothing beats like holding a book in your hands and being able to be
Absolutely.
like flip through the pages when you finally close it and you've annotated it, all your little tabs.
Yes. It feels more
Nothing
intimate, I
beats
feel
it.
like, with a physical book. Like you're touching it, you're there.
It's true. I agree. I agree. I that's why like for me with Eden Emery, she was one of the first authors where I bought the book and as I was reading through the physical copy, I was like, okay, I need the next book as soon as possible because I want to know what happens next, or like I want to see where the characters go from here. Same with Gianna Darling. Like, um,
Hmm.
I read a lot of her other books that had a really beautiful dark romance, but were targeted towards like heterosexual relationships. When she released Serpentine Valentine, I was like, this is like literally my vibe. It's dark academia and it's sapphic, and like I love that. And I will take any queer representation I can get. So I was just
Yes.
happy like to see that. So I love a good story that like can like keep you up all night. Um,
Absolutely.
I love that. My next question for you is what do you want to see more of in the LGBTQIA plus book space? And what do you love to see in queer stories?
It's hard because there are so many different queer stories that I really love, and they're all like I kind of just love the diversity of queer novels. I think that like there are so many different experiences in the queer world that like need to be written about. I think my favorite kinds of stories that are queer to read about are the ones where it's not like a coming of age where they're sort of like figuring out they're gay. I kind of like the ones that are like it's already established that these characters are gay. They are just experiencing life and all of the troubles that happen with life, and they just happen to be gay people. And like not so much queer normative, but just like they're just so comfortable in their own skin that it doesn't matter to them that they're gay or straight or like whatever their sexuality is. They're just exist like all the characters in my books have bigger problems than their sexuality. Do you know what I mean? Like they're suffering.
I get that. I'm
And
sitting here like
I
the
love
coming
that.
out is tough. Like the coming out is already tough in real life, like constantly.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I want you all to be out already and I want you
Yes.
to be living your lives. But
I
also,
do love reading a coming of age though every now and then, and I will say there was one that I read. Emily Austen is a really I don't know if you've heard of her. She's
no.
she's an American writer and she does more like literary fiction, but it's always like queer. She's a lesbian, so
Oh.
um she's an amazing writer and so unique. And she has a new release. It's called Is This a Cry for Help? And that book, the main character is with a guy for a very, very long time in her life. She's engaged to him. She doesn't come to terms with her lesbian identity until very, very later on in life. And
Mm.
it's because of the way she's brought up. And it's sort of just like, you know, when you're brought up in a space where you don't really know what that feels like to be a lesbian, and you don't know what it feels like to be not with a man, and everyone expects you to be with a man, and then you become with a man, and you've been with a man so long that that's your identity for so long. It's so hard to then switch to accepting who you are at your core. And you, in this story, um, I mean, I guess it's a bit of a trigger warning, but her boyfriend, um, he offs himself. And she blames herself for it because she leaves him because she realizes that she's a lesbian. And I really resonated with that so much. Not that that exact story has happened to me, but it's like the guilt of like, is leaving this person for myself going to hurt them as well? And I feel like that was such a unique queer experience that I've not read in a book before. And it just really touched me. Like I literally cried. I was so emotional over it. And it was such a beautiful story. And yeah, I loved it very much. So yeah.
I get
Not to get
that.
dark.
Finding yourself and your queer identity is so important, and some people don't know. Some people don't truly know until later in life. I
Yes.
did men for all throughout high school, most of like my, teenage years. But deep down, I was like, I thought everyone was like pretending. I'm like, oh, we're all just like
Yeah.
pretending, right? Like this isn't like really how you feel, right?
Yeah, and it's
It,
confusing and it's allowed to be
yeah,
confusing as well.
yeah.
A lot
But
of the time I
also,
was like, I just like boobs. Like,
I
why?
was
I just
I
thought
cared more
every
about
girl
female
just,
friendship. I cared more about my female friends than I cared
yeah.
about my boyfriends. Um,
Yeah.
I didn't. I would like literally stay up and like talk to my friends on the phone, like my female friends, and I was so emotionally invested in our friendships. But I also was like, is this a crush? Like, do I want to be with her? Do I want to be her
Yeah.
friend? Like, it was a very confusing time.
It's like, what is it? What
It
is
was very,
this new
but thank
feeling?
God for college. Oh, thank God for college. Like me, the writing was on the wall. There will be signs. I was like,
Yeah.
huh. Me
Yeah.
hanging up on my boyfriends, no question is asked when my friends called. But then also me being like, I think I had a friend in high school. She's so cool. She's punk now. She's like punk rock now.
What a
But
diva.
back in high school, she had like the long brown hair and like she was tall and like super
Yeah.
funny and super strong. And she'd be like, "You're like like my class girl, like my class girlfriend, my class wife. Like when I'm in this class, like you and I, like
That's
it's
so
you and me."
sweet.
And I was like, I look forward to this class every day.
Yes.
There will be
It's
signs.
confusing because it's like, do I just really care about this person or
Yeah.
do I have
Feelings.
yeah, like it's very
Yeah.
confusing. And I think that's a really important part of the queer identity is just always being confused about your feelings.
Also, like even though I wasn't in love with my boyfriends, I felt like, oh, well, they feel intensely and I don't want to hurt their feelings. So I must also feel intensely.
It's the
Because if I
people
don't,
pleaser.
yeah, like, because if I don't, then what does that say about me? And it's like, it's just
Yeah.
scary. But now, thank God, like finding books where like queer representation was present, seeing movies, seeing
Yes.
shows, like that was huge. I was like,
Yes. And
wow,
definitely
so
more
exciting.
I love bisexual representation as well.
I
I think
agree.
that is very missed because I think being bisexual is very confusing for the person who is experiencing it, but it's also more confusing for the people who don't understand it,
Yeah,
like what it feels like, because it's not like it's like you're in between so many things, and there's no like real way to narrow it down and be like, okay, I only like this and this. It's like, but you like everything. So then what?
that's true. I also think that
Yeah.
like I have come to learn and I've had to acknowledge like not everyone wants to be identify their sexuality. Like for some people, like I
Hmm.
have close relatives and friends who are like, "Hey, I know I'm not straight, and I'm okay with that. Like I don't necessarily want to
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
like." And I'm like, I get that. I think for me, like discovering and like saying out loud and identifying like being a lesbian has been really empowering because it required me to
Yes.
be like, it's not about anyone else, it's about me. It's not about protecting
Yes.
people's feelings. It's about what you want. Like it's your like. I think it's like it's your
That's so
life and like
important.
who you want to be with. That's your decision. Like you can't just be with
Yeah.
someone because you don't want to hurt them. Because like it's not fair. It's also not fair to them. Because they could be with
Yes.
someone who's like adores them to the ends of the earth. Meanwhile, for me, I was like, I would be kissing a guy, and in the back of my head, I'd be like, I can't wait to go home and make this meal, and I can't wait
Yes.
to watch this movie.
Yes.
I look back now and I'm like,
100%.
everyone feels this way. I later learned that is not how everyone feels. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
I think for me, I just also will have to feel like a lot of feelings towards a person because of their personality. Like to me, it's not even a measure of gender. It's a measure of
feeling.
like, what has this person done to, give me the sort of emotion and
I
the
agree.
desire to sort of be around them all the time and be with them and whatever. So yeah,
Mm,
for me, it's not so much the gender, it's the personality and like I could really love anyone if it was the right personality, if that makes sense.
I get that. I think for me, it's like love is like we speak the same language.
Hmm.
Like we understand each other even without words. Like to hold someone's hand or if they're having a hard time,
Yes.
to sit with them and just be quiet together but feel safe. Like is so
Yes.
beautiful. And that's what brings me to like your book Under. I feel like if I had this in high school, I definitely would have come out earlier.
Really?
Yeah, I would have
That's
come out
actually the biggest
earlier.
compliment. That makes me feel so good inside.
Yeah, I wish I had this book when I was discovering like who I was and I like, to have more courage to say who I was. I probably would have maybe not dated certain people. But for me, I'm like, it was a candid event.
It was a
Absolutely.
journey. You had to do it.
It
Yeah.
was a journey. But also like I have it now, but it's bittersweet because it's like, man, teenage me would have loved this.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, but I'm happy to read it now, and I'm excited for listeners to be able to read it in August because um, who knows? This could easily become someone's favorite book of the year. They could recommend it to their friends. So I'm just excited for it to
Yes.
be out in the world. Like,
Me too. It's been a
it's so
long
cool.
time coming and it feels very surreal that it's actually happening, but I'm also very, very excited. So yeah.
Yay! I'm gonna dive into some of my questions for you, listeners. Once again, this is non-spoiler, so you can listen to this and
Yes.
still read Under. If you could describe Under in 3 words, what would they be and why?
I mean, we've already covered a few of these words. I think definitely yearning is like the number one. I would say if you're going to take anything from under, it's the fact that there's so much yearning that it's like falling out of the pages. Um, I would say it's very whimsical. I feel like my writing style is very like, um, yeah, whimsical. It's very ethereal. I've had a few people say it's kind of like dreamlike. It
Yeah, I would
feels
say that
like
as
that.
well.
Yeah, and the last word would probably be gothic.
Ooh, good
It's more
one.
in the setting. Yeah, I think it's a very gothic sort of setting. It's a very like dark story. Um, and yeah, it really speaks to my gothic heart.
Under comes out August 8th, 2026, and it follows, uh, correct me if I'm wrong, Aurelia and Veronica.
Aurelia and Veronica. So you're very, very
Perfect.
close.
Awesome. In a coastal gothic story, it's a slow burn romance with a sprinkle of found family and forced proximity. Can you tell me a little bit about Under and what inspired it?
Yes. So the way I pitch under is it's imagine Pride and Prejudice with a dark academia fantasy and then make them all lesbians. That's pretty much, I mean, it's more lesbian ex-bisexual, but it's obviously very similar to that.
Yay.
Um, it is very character driven. So if you like a story where you're very much in the characters' heads and they're making all these kinds of crazy decisions and feeling all these different feelings, um, that's really important in this story for you to like. And yeah, it's just very sort of what's the word that I'm thinking of? It's very gripping and emotional. So if you like an emotional story that really packs a punch, I think you're gonna really enjoy Under. Yeah.
Who inspired these characters? Because as I was reading them, they felt so real. Were they inspired by the characters of Pride and
Yes.
Prejudice? Did you know anyone in real life? I'm so curious.
So the way that I wrote the characters, I think was very unique. So they're all kind of like parts of me in a way that I sort of like eccentrified. So Um, Aurelia is the main character. She is sort of like present me. Veronica is sort of past me and with all this sort of rage and like anger for the world and just very like, I don't know, just fiery, I guess. So that's her. Celine and Riot are the two side characters, so there's pretty much like four main characters in the main cast. Celine is who I like wish I was, and Riot is who I wish I had when I was like in my darkest period. So that's kind of how I built the characters. They kind of obviously got their own sort of personalities as it went, and they kind of wrote themselves. But yeah, it's a really weird way of doing it, I think. And it's not how I do all my books, but that's how it undercame for sure.
While writing, do you see the story like a movie in your mind? Why or why not?
So I have aphantasia, which basically means that I can't see anything in my head at all. There's just nothing. So, um, essentially, I started under with a mood board. I had a Pinterest board, and that's pretty much it. I knew how the book would end. I didn't know anything else, and I just started writing. And so, yeah, I don't see things, but I think like, I get, it's really hard to explain. I get like a vision without seeing it. It's like a
Okay,
thought comes in my head and it's like, oh, but this is it. And then I start writing and then it just kind of comes out.
that's so
It kind of
cool.
blooms. It's like a flower, like starts growing. And I'm like, oh
Oh,
my gosh, like we're now got like 20,000 words and half a book is written.
that's
So yeah.
amazing. Wow. Um, the main character has to attend Vanderbilt Academy after the loss of her father. Secrets and a moody, handsome roommate in Veronica are at the heart of the story. What inspired the academy, and how did you craft true yearning that feels so real in this LGBTQIA plus story?
The academy was kind of not really built off of anything in particular. I have obviously taken a lot of visual inspiration from a bunch of things, like pretty much any mainstream, like academy sort of story that has a big manor, I've taken into account. Definitely, Pemberley from Pride and Prejudice. That has obviously inspired, I mean, like a mansion, it's very like sort of, I feel like Pemberley is very whimsical if you've
I could
read
see
Pride and
that.
Prejudice.
I'd like a
Yeah.
misty, like the last scene. Can you spoil Pride and Prejudice? I don't know. Can
I
you?
don't think so.
I don't think you can.
Like
But
you should have watched it by now.
yeah, but the misty like environment and then the field when Darcy's walking through, that to me was so dreamlike. Like
Yes.
that, but sapphic. Mm,
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of the energy the Academy gave me. Like I could easily see two characters, I can't spoil it, two characters meeting in a very dreamlike, beautiful outdoor
Yes.
location. I'll leave that there. I'll leave that there.
Yeah. What was the other half of the question?
And the other half of the question is what inspired the Academy and how did you craft true yearning that feels so real in this story? Because the yearning felt very real.
I just feel like I experience emotions very strongly. And so the smallest things could happen, I will feel like 1,000 million things in the
Mm,
span of like a second. And so when I write, I feel like I do go on a bit of a tangent in the emotions that the character's feeling. And sometimes you do kind of forget where you are, but it's kind of on purpose because that's kind of what's happening in the character's head. It's like, oh my gosh, like I'm being swarmed by all these emotions, like where even am I? And I am not supposed to like this person. And it's kind of a forbidden love I'm kind of figuring out as I'm like rereading it and I'm thinking about it and I'm ruminating on the story. I think it is kind of a forbidden love because they're not supposed to like each other and they really are supposed to be hating each other and they pretend to hate each other for so long. And I don't know, I have like a knack for writing banter and sort of like hatred and these kinds of things. And I really am not really great at admitting my feelings as well. So I feel like it comes naturally for that reason,
life
which is a little
imitates
bit
art.
of a red flag, but
I mean, maybe
it's fine.
beige.
We're
It's a
learning and we're
beige
growing.
flag. Who
Yeah.
knows? I will say that like I'm very much a I guess a red flag for a red flag. I'm
Betrayed.
very much like an overthinker. So like if something
Yes, me
happens,
too.
yeah, I'm not the first person to be like, what's going on? I'm the person to like uh if I was in a dark academia movie or a book, I'd be the one who like looks is like standing out under the rain, under the like parapet, and I would just be standing out in the rain with like a badass trench coat or like in a suit. Like, what did she mean by that? She doesn't really care for
Yeah.
me. And then like
Uh,
the main character does not see her for like a month because you're just like in
Yeah.
your own place, in your own mind. That's
Yeah.
me. I'm not the first person to be like, oh, that kind of hurt my feelings. Can we talk about it? No, I'm
Nope.
gonna overthink it for a while before I bring something up, which is not
Yeah.
healthy. That's
And
not
then I feel like when
good.
that happens, you're like, oh, like maybe I won't say anything because maybe it's just me and I'm just being silly. And
Right.
then, turns out it was real and you probably
Yeah,
should have said something and then it's escalated into something that it shouldn't be. And now all this stuff is
exactly.
happening and it's just explosions and craziness
That's what
and
anxiety feels like. It's like, what are you scared of? It's like,
yes,
exactly. What are you scared? Exactly.
exactly. But your brain makes you believe it. And I think that is a big part of Aurelia's character as well. She has panic disorder, which is from me. And I really wanted to represent that in the story in a way that felt authentic to her character and didn't
Mhm.
take away from the rest of the novel because obviously there is a lot happening. But she is a very mentally unwell girly. And as she should be. I mean, it's not really a spoiler because it's in the prologue, but it's in the blurb. Her dad dies like immediately.
Mhm.
And she's sort of grieving the whole way through the story. And that's a very important part of her character. And it kind of shows in a very reflective way how loving she is because she's grieving so much. Because obviously you have to love someone so much in order to grieve them. So yeah, I think that and the panic attacks and like all this stuff, it really sort of compounds and it makes her do things that maybe a sane person and a mentally well person wouldn't do. So you kind of have
Mhm.
to take that into account as you're reading the story. And I hope people have really resonated with that. Um, and her intense emotions and her grief. So yeah.
I really appreciated the way that you wrote mental health into the story, as well as discussions of grief and falling in love while juggling a lot. I thought it was so tender and so done with such care, and it was really
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Speaking of emotions and tears, the dedication of your book has brought ARC readers to tears. Can you read it to listeners and explain what was behind the heart of this message?
Oh, hold on. I have the book with me.
I'm
Let me
so
read the dedication.
excited. I think you teased
So
this dedication. Oh, it's so beautiful. You teased the dedication, and when I saw it on Instagram, I got a little emotional because it was really beautiful.
I wrote
I
it.
am one of the ARC readers that
Yeah.
cried.
Oh no. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I feel really bad when I make people cry, but I'm like, it's kind of the point of the story is to make you feel emotional. So I'm like, it's a win, but it's also like, I'm really sorry.
No, if it hits emotionally, it's good. You know it's good.
Amazing. Okay, so the dedication. For those that feel that they are drowning, one day you will find you won't feel the water's weight. You will learn to feel so much more than its suffocating presence. Remember that the softest of hearts often have the strongest of minds. And that last line always really sticks with me. It's at the end
Mhm.
of my newsletter as well, because I feel like it just makes me so emotional. And like, I think a lot of the times we think that being emotional and feeling a lot of things makes us weak. And I think it's actually a lot of people's strength. And I've really struggled with that a lot, with like thinking that, oh my gosh, I cry so much, I'm so annoying, like all these different things, again, with the overthinking. And I think it's really important to just accept who you are. And it's really hard to sort of embrace that. But once you do, it feels really good. So
I
I
agree.
guess Aurelia in the story is sort of coming to terms with that and coming to terms with all of her emotions very slowly.
I think that being sensitive and being in touch with your feelings, it requires a certain level of vulnerability and strength to even do
Yes.
that. It's a lot easier to push things down and be like, yeah, I'm just like, that can wait till later.
Yes.
And it's harder to be like, no, I'm gonna hold myself accountable. I'm gonna feel what I'm feeling now. It's gonna be there no matter what. Rather
Yes.
feel it now and know yourself, and so you can navigate things. A tender-hearted, sensitive person, speaking as one myself, like, and someone who loves people who are also very sensitive. Um, it's a beautiful thing to love that
It
much, to
really
care that
is.
much. Like,
Absolutely.
it does come with a cost, yes, like you care a lot, but also like the attention to detail for little things. Like people who care a lot, I think also like the character in your book, they are so capable of amazing things.
Yes.
And that's a pro. Speaking
It
of,
is.
what was one of your favorite parts of writing under?
I mean, the whole first draft was my favorite thing ever. I mean, as I said before, I started writing a different book before I started writing under, and it just was, I felt like I was forcing it out, and it just wasn't
Mm.
it didn't feel like it was the right book for me in that moment. And writing under the first draft was just such like a release of emotions. It was such a roller coaster because I pants, so I didn't know like a majority of anything that was happening in the book. I didn't even know who these characters were until I wrote them into being, and learning about the story as I was writing it is just such a magical experience. And I truly hope that every writer gets to feel the way that I felt writing that first draft because it was so magical. And yeah, and then I got to editing and I was like, oh, this is really painful. But the first draft makes literally everything else worth it.
I wanted to bring up some of my favorite tropes from your book. The tropes of hurt and care, plus women in suits in your story Under. As a queer girly, these left me breathless in the best way. What does LGBTQIA plus representation in Under mean to you? How did you want to represent that in this story?
I mean, it is represented in a few different ways because obviously you have so many different characters in this book. Um, the main character is very comfortable in her sexuality, and she is a lesbian, and she's the feminine one, so it's mas. Oh, hold on. Is it all right if I just grab the door? I think
Yeah,
someone's
of
here.
course. Yeah, take your
Sorry, give me
time.
a second.
You're all good. Yeah, take your time. Hey,
Hi, sorry about that.
it's okay. We're coming to the end, so it's all good. I'll just cut this part out.
Perfect.
But yeah, what circling back, yeah, what the tropes of hurt plus care and queer representation and under, like, what does this mean for you in this story? I know we're both queer people, and but I know writing books like this must be challenging because there's so many layers to it. I
Yeah.
guess my big question for you is like, what does queer representation in under mean to you?
I mean, I tried to represent as many different sort of queer identities as I could in this book, obviously without like making it seem performative. But I really wanted to sort of change the stereotype a little bit because I feel like, especially usually the feminine one is a lot more sort of inexperienced. Um, Aurelia is a lesbian. She's very comfortable that she's a lesbian. She has a lot of flashbacks with um, a childhood lover that she experienced sort of like a coming of age sort of thing with. And I think that was really beautiful and it kind of built her character and her sexuality without making her like this innocent, naive, like fragile sort of character. And I really wanted to
Mhm.
sort of make her like quite strong in her sexuality. And Veronica, the love interest, she is a suit wearing baddie. We love her for that. Um, she's masked, but she's not masked in the sense that she's butch. Like she's not muscly, she's not like super strong. She's sort of like this very androgynous sort of figure. And she is
Yes.
bisexual. And I really love when people can really sort of embrace gender fluidity. And that's something that I think is so attractive. And I feel like I don't see it a lot in books, especially queer
Mm.
books. And she is the bisexual one. She's the one who's been with guys and has been with girls as well. And yeah, I just really wanted to write her that way. I do connect with her a lot in that sort of sense that like she can embrace her masculine energy and she can embrace her feminine energy, and you kind of never really know what you're going to get with her. The whole reason that she wears suits is because it's convenient for her. It's not really like a I'm wearing a suit because I want to be like manly and like the alpha. It's really not like that at all.
Yeah.
And then we have Riot, who is non-binary, which was so important for me to add into the story. And it's third person, and I thought it was such a unique thing to write a non-binary person who has they them pronouns in a third person story. I've never read that before. And I thought I'd try it, and I was really happy that I did. I really love that character a lot, and they mean so much to me, and they're such a support for Aurelia. And it's again, it's not a main part of their personality, but I think it's so important to them, and it's just sort of accepted by the people around them that really care about them. And it's not, I mean, there is a little bit of questionable behavior from Veronica about their sexuality, and obviously, like it's not a common thing to have a non-binary person sort of in a fantasy book. So I wanted to definitely like bring it to light a little bit without making it like very like, oh, so what sexuality are you? You know, like it's a bit more nuanced than that. But yeah, I wanted to have a non-binary character in there as well. So there's definitely lots of different varieties and like diversity in the queer representation. And it was just really important for me to like test the boundaries of the stereotypes, I think was really what I was going for. And obviously going for like what I like as well, because it's my first book and yeah, I just wanted to do myself justice as well.
That is so cool. And I love the level of diversity and representation and the care that you poured into every single character. It
Thank
was
you.
not performative by any means. It felt very organic and it flowed beautifully into the story. So it's amazing. It's so good to see this
You'd love to
representation.
hear it.
Yes. I wanted to ask last two questions. Can you share a quote
Take
from
your time.
Under with listeners so they can get a vibe for the story?
Yes, let me grab that.
And feel free to share as many quotes as you like. Since the book hasn't come out yet, I just want to give listeners a like voice to this book directly from the author. Yeah, so they can get excited for reading it when it comes out August 8th.
Yes, amazing. Where is the quote that I'm looking for?
Yep. While we wait, listeners, please make sure to add Under to your TBRs. I'll have it linked in the Goodreads below, and I'll have it on, your Instagram linked below from the author. So yeah, once again, this comes out August 8th. So it's right around the corner. I'm so excited. So yeah.
Yay. I think I know it by memory anyway. I can't find
Oh,
it, but
ooh, okay.
um yeah, it's the quote that I think moves everyone the most when they hear it. It's but to feel grief is to feel love, and there is beauty in that somewhere around a corner she had not yet taken. And it's just such a beautiful quote. And when I wrote it, I was like, wow, like that just really like touched me in a way that writing a first draft and your first book, a lot of the time you write stuff and you're like, what the hell is that? But that I wrote and I was like, wow, that's going to mean something to someone. And that
That's
just
so
really made me
beautiful.
feel so special. So yeah,
Thank you so much, Lily. That was beautiful.
thank you.
What do you want listeners to know about Under prior to its release?
Um, I mean, we talked about it a lot. I think just know that it is a slow-paced novel. It's not sort of like you don't get the reward of the emotions and everything very quickly. It's a slow build. It's the first book in a trilogy, and everything in the first book that you read and you go, oh, that sounds like, why is that even in there? It's on purpose. There is a meaning behind everything, and you will learn more about these characters and their experiences and the plot in the next two books. And yeah, there's lots of Easter eggs in there. If you've read Pride and Prejudice, there are little Easter eggs to Pride and Prejudice in there. Some of my favorite writers and things. Pretty much everything I love, I put a little bit of into this book to try and sort of make it feel as special as possible. And yeah, I think it's just you got to go slow with it and you got to take it for what it is. And if you like a slow burn, it'll be worth it in the end, I promise.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank
Everyone
you for
read
having
Under
me.
when it comes out. I'm so happy you're here. Everyone read Under when it comes out August 8th. I'll have the pre-order link in the show notes below, your Instagram, all the things.
Thank you.
Where can people find you on social media? Where can they find Under when it comes out?
Yeah. So all my socials are lilyfay_writes. You can find me on there. I post a lot. I'm a bit of a gremlin. You can pre-order the ebook on Amazon if you'd like to, or you can pre-order the paperback on my website. You get a couple extra goodies, and we're about to hit some really cool pre-order incentives. So if you want like some stickers and some extra stuff, and it's signed, can be personalized, whatever you want, all that fun stuff. You can do that on my website. So that's lilyfayauthor.com. And I do have a few bookstores that will be stocking it as well, which is all on my website, so you can have a little look there and have some fun. So yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Lily. You're amazing. Everyone, grab your copies of Under when it comes out August 8th, 2026. And it'll also be available on Amazon virtually. So for those Kindle folks out there, that'll
Yes.
be fun. And for the bookstores, I'll just have everything linked to the show notes below from your website. Please subscribe on YouTube and follow on Spotify. Leave a nice little rating. Everything helps. And grab your copy of Under by Lily Fay as soon as possible when the book comes out in August.
Yay.
I'll see
Thank
you
you so
guys
much for
later.
having me.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. Everybody stay cozy, keep reading, and grab this book as soon as you can.